So as promised, we're going over the captain. We're going over each sort of section in Starship Combat. First one was the captain phase, the most important part of the ship.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. I mean, they sort of wrangle everyone together.
Yeah. So what makes you the captain?
So the captain, they're going to be your diplomats. So basically, just from a purely stat thing, you're going to have your person who has a really high charisma score. So I don't know, your envoy, your envoy.
Well, yeah.
Or just someone with a.
There's envoy that's good. If you don't want to min-max your stuff, there's also I guess this one doesn't have any charisma casters, but anybody who has taken the role.
The icon, maybe?
Yeah, the icon of anybody who's really talking a lot outside of combat. Your primary role player, every group has one. They're probably going to be most comfortable in the captain position. Your wallflower is probably not going to want to be the captain.
Yeah, there's a reason why Happy isn't, screaming out Ralston.
It can take its action during any of the 3 phases there for that. Just in case you just want to buff up anybody or say, hey, whoa, yo, Shireen is fighting us. You're ugly. Anything like that.
Like, no.
Yeah, he'll get discouraged and shoot himself. It can take its action during any phase in combat. That's really helpful for a lot of pretty much all it does is buff up everybody or talk anyway. So you want to be really fluid as a captain. But still remember to call out what you're doing before any actions take place. Mm-hmm. One of the big things is like, oh, hey, no, I totally meant to buff them up here. That'll kind of, cut down a lot of the action.
Yeah. Yeah, so what it does is, it can either, buff your ship and your crewmates or, it can burden the other ones. Like, for example, you have demand where basically, it's kind of like whenever your boss is being an asshole, you're really just sort of cracking that whip. You're just, basically, screaming at them to, do the best of someone better. To do that, it's going to roll off your Intimidate skill, and the difficulty class for that's going to be 15, plus whatever, double your ship tier. So, for example, if you have, a tier 1 ship, it's going to be 15, 16, 17.
Yeah.
To sort of intimidate one of your crew members to do better. And, if you succeed, they get a +4, to whatever roll they're making. But you can only crack the whip on one person per combat.
You can't just be like, you do better, and then you see another person.
Use on one person, if you're gonna
one person at a time.
You can only make a demand from your engineer, and then you can't demand anything else from them for combat. You could demand something from one of your science people.
So you can change it up on who you're doing.
Yeah, you can do it.
You just can't keep riding one person.
Yeah, you can do it more than once, but you can only do that to person one time.
Okay, one thing that doesn't have that restriction to it is encourage. It works for like the aid other thing on page 133. It grants a +2 bonus to whatever action they're taking on there for that. The check is dependent on whether or not you're proficient in that skill. For example, if you're helping the science officer make a scan, which is a computer's check, you got to be proficient in computers to be able to help them with that. But if you're not proficient in that skill, it would just be a DC 15 plus your starship's tier in diplomacy. Sort of talking to them, hey, I don't know how this works, but I know darn well our ship has, say, long-range sensors or what have you. This is sort of go check in this file.
Or make a friendship speech, basically, like, I believe in you.
Yeah, or it's, hey, I believe in you. You're better than this, sort of that thing. Or hey, we're all counting on you. Either way you want to role play it out. Definitely do want to roleplay this, but it grants a +2 bonus for whatever skill they're trying to do. And remember, this can be done on any phase, for any role, gunnery, what have you.
Yeah, and the next one is Taunting. Basically, you're just cyberbullying the hell out of the enemy ship. So, I don't know, you want to have your envoy, your like really preppy high school girls, just put them in the captain's chair, and they'll be like, oh my God, you are so brave to be wearing that uniform. I wouldn't feel comfortable wearing that. I don't think I can pull it off. You're really brave.
It's Wednesday and they're not wearing pink. You really get on them.
And so what it does is, you can do this once per starship combat, regardless of whether you succeed or not. And the DC for that is, it's going to be 15 plus twice whatever their starship tier is. So their starship tier is 1, it's going to be a 17 again. And if you do succeed, what it's going to do is the crew of that ship, they will take a -2 to all actions that they take for 1d4 turns. And
Pretty good.
if they're using a push action, they're going to take a -4. And you can tell if something's a push action where if you're looking at something and if right next to the starship action, if it says push action next to it, they'll take and if you're doing that, it will take a -4 to that until your crew is just like, oh man, we got cyberbullied so hard.
Yeah, I'm gonna go over orders here for that. Orders. It's a level 6. It's level 6 captain ability, and you can grant an additional action to a crew member. It does cost 1 resolve point, and you need to succeed a difficult. Succeed a difficult skill check and start at the start of that phase. It corresponds with what they're doing. For example, if you're helping out the science officer with this, you're going to want to make a computers check. Engineering is engineering, obviously. Gunnery is gunnery, and pilot is pilot. Piloting is pilot. You can't give orders to yourself, and if you are giving somebody orders to take that extra action, it can't be the same action. So it's not going to be like, okay, gunner, go ahead and fire. Okay, I missed, boss. Oh well, I'm going to give you orders to fire again. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. Whether it's the scanners have to take a moment to recalibrate or do robot stuff, or the gunners the guns have to sort of recharge or reload or what have you. We can't do the same action, but it's still pretty helpful. So that's about it for orders.
So the last last action on this list that you can do is, so at level 12 you can do an inspiring speech. This is your whole Independence Day speech. I don't know.
Welcome to Earth?
Yeah. Well, that would be more of just like a battle cry, because he just said he punched him first, and after he was knocked out, he said, "Welcome to Earth." So this is our Independence Day, or if you play Mass Effect 1 with the Solarians, like we hold the line, or some other dramatic, insert dramatic speech here. So how this works is you spend 1 resolve point to use this, and then you make a DC, check of 15. Plus, whatever your ship tier, twice your ship tier. And if you make it, and whenever you make this on any one of your phases, the crew for that phase, they will, if you played 5th edition, they basically get advantage. The book says they roll twice, take the highest number, but they get advantage. For, the rest of that phase, you can only make 1 inspiring speech per combat, so you can't just be like, okay, we need to scan this thing. You can't just be like, listen, we need, this scan, is the difference between life and death. Generations, after our bones are dust, they will sing songs of this scan that you're doing.
So I imagine every scan or whatever takes an action in combat, which is about 6 seconds. So after every 6 seconds, your captains they can't give the whole Chairman Prescott E-Day speech, which is listen, we're fighting monsters for the survival of humanity every 6 seconds.
Yeah, I know. You can only do it sort of once because I don't know. I guess it's kind of after a while, if someone's giving too many pep talks, you're like, all right, I'm just sort of tuning you out because I got computer stuff to do.
And I sort of imagine the captain sort of action, since they can only do this once during combat or once during Starship combat, it's like they're giving the speech over the intercom during the entire course of the combat, and just screaming a speech, an entire speech in the course of 6 seconds.
Yeah. That about covers it for Captain. Do you have anything else you want to add to it? Or?
No, the only thing I want to say is congratulations to Dr. 8-Bit and Scientist Santa. You were the winners for our July 2018 giveaway. Therefore, I'm going to go ahead and put this down in a comment below as a reply to your comments. And then also, if you could send an email to 20sidednight@gmail.com. So we can get the ball rolling and send those out to you. Thanks for watching 20 Sided Night, and bye for now.